I agree, man. I second that.
All right, three, two, one. Hello, internet. Welcome back to the Johnson Report. Today we're going to be talking about what was it? Garyism,
Gerrymandering.
Gerrymandering.
gerrymandering. But let's talk about that. The intro plays. Hey, Miss Hall. Hi.
I miss all.
Today on
Hello.
the Johnson Report, I'm joined by the usual Matthew,
Hello.
Gavin,
Uh,
and of course Dylan.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to
So today we're going to be talking about what we need to for assignment 3. Now, in assignment 3, we are given the task of understanding gerrymandering and how it works, and, how one day we may apply it in modern practice.
Yes,
But
so
basically, we're just going to go over what it actually is, so
yep, I'll take it away from there.
thank you,
You're
Dylan.
done introducing this. Gerrymandering is kind of like a way of dividing districts. Like during a vote, like in a vote context, like a voting political context, that typically gives one political party a like advantage that's unfair. So, for example, if one party, this is like the common example you'll find online, like one party has 40% of the total votes, one party has 60%. So a if you're going straight off of like a total vote, then the party with the 60% would win because they have more votes, right? And by 60%, I mean like 60% of the votes. And then, but like because we have the electoral college and stuff, and like there's votes, and that's like a part of our voting system. Like it depends more about who's won the districts, like instead of total vote. So gerrymandering is when the districts aren't like cut up very evenly, so that one district like either like one party either takes like all the votes, or like the party with less votes has the advantage, so they take more.
Hmm.
And Seth, I'll give Seth the picture to put up now as the example. But basically it just gives one side like an unfair advantage based off of how the districts are divided up. And kind of like to prevent this, recently they've been like entering things where these political maps are like redrawn. I think it's every 10 years
Yeah, I
based
think
off
it's
of
10
like the
years.
population density, like from your census reports and stuff.
Yeah,
So that's
from like
supposed to kind of help that.
how
Go ahead, Seth.
often the census? Isn't it every 10 years? Isn't the census like that? Census 10 years every 10 years?
I would think so.
I don't think so. I can look that up real quick.
Yeah. So you get pretty accurate numbers
Yeah.
with like technology and all
Yeah,
the
it's
stuff
every
we
10
have.
years.
I would
Yeah,
say it kind of needs to be a little sooner. Like every 10 years might have been fine. Like, back whenever this was a big problem or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. I think because there's a whole thing was like if it's like from 5 years ago, you can't use that as like a
yeah.
source or whatever.
A lot of crap can change in 10 years.
Yeah,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
you gotta think
I
like
mean, look at COVID.
yeah, look at what happened
Yeah.
from like 2010 to 2020.
So there's too much that happens.
We got Donald J. Trump as president, and then a worldwide plague. It's still kind of going on.
hmm
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then like everything that happened in America.
There
That's
was a
like
war in Ukraine.
there's a war.
But that
Yeah.
kind of happened after. It was like 1 year after, but
Yeah.
Anyways, gerrymandering.
we
You want
love.
me to go over like the word definition now, or like
Yeah,
the
go
meaning
ahead.
of
Yeah,
it?
go ahead.
Okay.
Take it away.
Yeah,
So I did a little because I'm curious, because it's a funny sounding word, right? Gerrymandering.
I think
So I
of
did a little.
I think of Jerry the snail.
Yeah.
That was stupid. It's Gary.
Yeah. But I did like a little research, quote unquote, just a Google search, but I just because I wanted to know what the word like root words were, and it comes from in the like early 19th century, around like 800 bleh, 1812
Yeah.
when the governor of Massachusetts, Elbridge Gerry, um, he was doing some stuff with it, like how Dylan was talking about before, with like the distribution of voting districts on a map. And he had it in such a way where it was very clearly unfair for everyone else except for his party, and it was drawn in such a way on the map that it looked like a salamander. So news sources everywhere was calling it the gerrymander, and
That's
put
awesome.
yeah, Seth, in editing, if you look up gerrymander, there's a picture that you should put up
Oh,
of like the old like art for it. It's really funny
don't
looking.
worry. As soon as you said salamander, I guarantee I threw like 1,000 different pictures of salamanders on screen.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
found
but this
one.
is like it
Is
and
that the
it's
right one,
like it's all
Gavin?
like twisty and turny and snake like. Wait, what? Yeah, that's it. That's it.
I mean, I would hope it's a salamander. They just
Yeah,
didn't
it's
know the
like but they
salamander.
added like wings and fangs and like a teeth into it. Yeah, just to
To
make it
make
more
it evil.
dramatic looking.
Oh
Yeah, make
my
it look
god.
evil
It's
because
like a
you have to make
Yeah,
the
Charmander.
opposing team look evil.
that's what it's all about.
Yep.
Here, look at this one too. This is like an anti one propaganda.
Oh my gosh. Multi-member districts being the sword that slays the gerrymander.
Why does that kind of look like the Skyrim map?
I
It
don't
does.
know.
Like not at
Oh
all,
my
but
god, it does.
like if you flip it on its side, it kind of does.
So I guess the
Yeah.
problem is people aren't happy with the way stuff's split up, so then they're like asking for change. Well, not really asking, they're more
Yeah.
demanding change.
If you hold on, let me
Oh my god,
pop one
wait, why
in.
does that look like the Skyrim map? Hold on. Continue.
Hey,
Oh my gosh, I can't copy
So who is
image.
Gavin still doing his
Continue,
bit?
Gavin.
yeah.
No, that's pretty much it. I mean, other than like, yeah, they had like the whole like push against it, and like the word being start to be used was because of that one governor whose last name was Jerry, and
Mm-hmm.
Thank God for him.
his map that he drew out for like how he wanted the districts, like his voting districts to looked like a salamander to everyone else. So they were like, let's
I
call it
don't
this then.
I don't know what kind of salamanders people are looking at,
Yeah,
but like
because when I saw it, I was like, yeah, I
it
mean,
looks like a
I'll hear him
bird.
out. It looks like a gargoyle.
It looks like a
Yeah.
very weird vulture.
I
See
don't
that, yeah.
know what's up with people from back in the day and salamanders. Maybe some type of unspoken beef.
I think they were just scared of the salamander power.
If you look in this though, the map is drawn so it looks like it has a tongue. So that's
Yeah.
funny.
Well, I would hope a salamander has a tongue.
Yeah.
Alright, what's the next bit we're looking at? Are we looking at like the current stuff to like try to fix gerrymandering? Because I guess it kind of became a bit of a problem like as we grew as a country, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, yeah,
so
it went from
how did
like when
how do
was
we
it?
stop these influences?
It went from like a very like okay, well, America as the years go on, especially as the decades go on, as this census is supposed to be taken every 10 years,
Yeah.
we get like at least I'll put like the actual number on it. I would assume it's like a million, even probably more, a million like people each year in America. It's probably more, but that's something you can't really keep up with a 10-year census. Because like if you keep doing it that way, it's gonna be like, oh wow, like what 11 million people were just added after 10 years, and they're either 10, they're 10, all 10-year-olds, and they've just been added, or they're one.
Yeah.
That may not make much sense, but like sure, cut that out.
I
Yeah,
was
What
trying to follow so hard.
get that out. I don't. I'm tired. I'm so,
where do we play Mandarin today?
I mean, I'm sure it's around. It's just I haven't,
It's probably harder to do with all of the new technology and everything though. I mean,
especially
I would
with
assume.
yeah, with the
Exactly.
people not trusting sources
Nowadays,
that are 10 years old as well.
Yeah.
nowadays it's much easier to get those demographics. It's much easier to educate people about the dangers of
Yeah, I mean,
gerrymandering.
if they want a census, instead of like having to go out and be like, knock on the door and be like, hello, hello, how many people in this house? And then they get the census. It's just like, hey, we have all your records. We don't really need to do that anymore.
Yeah, it's so much easier to do a census nowadays.
Yeah.
For real.
Like, legitimately, I can go on Google. Jackson did this. I wouldn't tell anyone my weird start, but I wouldn't tell anyone my mother's name. Like, I've been saying it for a while now. If you know me, you know my mom's name. Jackson legitimately did like maybe 3, 4 Google searches and found like pretty much everything. And like,
Like everything,
Foxy.
not
everything.
everything, but like names, pretty much.
Weird.
Because everything's online now.
Yeah.
And so eventually, if you look the right things up, you will find them.
I also
Yeah.
see people they'll go beyond just like be going on the news to talk and spread the awareness of gerrymandering because what you guys are talking about, it's like it's kind of something that hasn't happened in a while, but it's still happening enough for it to be talked about on the news as early as 2011, and it's being talked about enough for people to actively seek to educate others about it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely is a form of bias we need to be aware of. So,
Yeah.
like, because
Well,
any party could try to use it to their advantage, right?
another
Like,
thing
if you
is,
look at the example, the party that's like winning, or like, sorry, the party that has majority votes
I'm
could get
winning.
over representation.
Yeah.
Like,
Future Seth put the Trump tweet up where he says, "I'm winning."
But yeah, Dylan, like you were saying, sorry to just like completely over say what you were saying, Seth.
No, no, I was just
But
saying to put something up in post.
right. Uh but like Dylan was saying, I feel like a lot of
Excuse
the
me?
focus goes towards the winning party so much that like it's only focusing on them that it puts everyone like Dylan quite literally just said, and I'm just restating it. I don't know why I'm
Wait,
saying any of this.
that also like if you like okay, kind of bad word to say this, but if you segregate like okay, let's say these are the people I like and here's the people who hate me. If you don't
mhm.
have some of those people who hate you in with the people who like you, then you are basically creating like kind of a cyst in your like kind of area. It's like, okay, these people like me. And then you look over the wall and they're freaking like sharpening the pitchforks because they all
Yeah.
hate you. It's just
Well,
like you're feeding the hurt, you're feeding the like feeding them back by saying like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't like you, so you don't get what we deserve.
another thing is if a political party wins, they control the voting demographics
Yeah.
on
But
how they want to be displayed.
that's easily
So
biased. Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
so that's one of the biggest things about it.
Yeah, it's just shrimple as that.
So,
Oh my god.
what did we have to answer? Like, what else were we supposed to talk on? Like, how this is a public, sorry, not like how
Well,
this is still a modern problem. Is that what? Because I guess we're kind of going on that
well,
now.
the questions were how is gerrymandering currently being dealt with? We
Hmm.
talked about technology. Technology provides a way to more accurately and precisely record this information. We talked about news and media that go out of their way to educate.
Hmm.
And we talked about just people who are so concerned about it that they actively go and like spread the word about it.
So, what are these activist groups called? Have you said that already?
Um, I have an example uh that I saw. I saw a YouTube video as one of our sources, and it was this group, and basically in the video they were going door to door just talking about gerrymandering, and that was all they were doing.
Hmm. So, just
So
spreading public awareness.
yeah.
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 So right here, there's a political activist group called Voters Not Politicians, and they can be seen in the video. They're just going door to door with like flyers and stuff saying, "Hey, this is gerrymandering. This is bad. This is why we have a lot of problems we have in our government." So if it's that big of a deal that people are taking that much action about it, it's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, no. I say it's a pretty big, like, it's something that we haven't, or at least I haven't. I don't know about you guys. I haven't really heard much about this. I've heard the word before, but I mean, obviously, it's a pretty big, or whatever. It's a topic now. It's still around. It's not faded
Yeah, it's
away.
still relevant.
It's not gone the way of the dodo. It's still actually here, and to an extent being used.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Do we need to talk about anything else, or are we pretty much good? 'Cause
One
I think.
more thing.
One more thing.
Okay, okay,
The,
go ahead.
the biggest the, the biggest stamp on the nose to gerrymandering on like a federal level
Yeah.
is the Voting Rights Act of 1965, which basically signed by Lyndon B. Johnson. It outlawed the
Yeah.
discriminatory voting practices adopted in all the southern states after the Civil War. So it basically did away with all the discrimination in voting.
Hold
So
up,
people
Matthew. Matthew,
have the right to display their what?
did you say Lyndon B. Johnson?
Yeah, Lyndon B. Johnson put
Sound the alarms.
that. Yeah, Lyndon B. Johnson signed that act, and there was also like something you have to take, like a literacy test. I don't know, something else, but the main thing is it was a law that got rid of the discrimination for voting.
Hmm.
And ultimately, what that does is it allows the availability of accurate and like true demographics that are unbiased. So anyone can take a look at the maps for themselves and make their own decisions.
Yeah, I'd
Cool.
say that's fair.
Yeah.
Well, do you guys want to say anything else?
No, I think we did.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
good.
I think I covered everything I wanted to talk about. How long are we going right now?
It's a pretty short one. Like,
Like less than 10 minutes,
We
or
want to go on a mini rant about something random,
nah?
I
We don't want
do.
to waste her time.
but it might be funny. What if she wants to listen to it?
I
I got
doubt
a
she
piece
does.
up. I came here to do my job and get out of here.
Okay.
I feel you, man.
All right.
Well,
Has to
okay.
be
Well, anyway,
psycho-cybernetics.
Miss Hall, have you ever heard of Mike and Melissa?
Oh yes.
Yes.